All right, drum roll for this, please, because we are going to go 3 levels deep, and we're going to do that with image. So what I mean is you have a recipe can have comments, and when somebody makes a comment, they're allowed to upload images. So a comment may have multiple images. It's like, hey, I made the pizza recipe, it was great, and let me show you a picture of the pizzas I made. And so here's like 2 or 3 maybe images related to that comment. So that's the idea. Now, Flask Commands allows you to go as deep as you want. In my kind of rule book, I use the rule of thumb that 3 levels deep is pretty much as far as I would go. As far as a route, like you may actually have a relationship that goes multiple levels deep, but as far as the routing goes, um, when I'm listing out the routes, 3 levels deep is really where I stop. Otherwise, it just gets a bit confusing. Okay, so right now, here's the app. We made this in the prior video. And so I'm on a recipe 1, which is pizza. I can see the comments for that pizza, for that recipe, which is pizza. And I can drill into a particular comment. So I can go to comment 1, or I can go to comment 2. So this is the show page for the comment. And then what I like to do is I'd like to see all the images related to that. So I would have like an images here, and then we could list all those images. So what I need is I need an index page. Well, actually, I think so. I said is I would want like an images link here, and then I can go see all those images in that. So if I go back, it'd be kind of like this, where I have a comments link. If I click comments, then I see all the comments for the recipe. So I want the same thing here, where I have an images link, and when I click that, it will show me all the images related to that comment. Okay, so that's an index page. Let's look at this. I'm going to hopefully not bungle this up this time. And let's just kind of stare at the relationships. So when we did this one-to-many scenario between a recipe and a comment, so let's think of it like this. Let's do it this way. So a recipe has many comments. We had to have a recipe ID that reference back to this table. And then the relationship was, this is the one that I always think of. You have a recipe, get your comments. This is the one I forgot. If you have your comment, what is the recipe associated to that? And so we'll do the exact same thing, but we'll go one step more. Now, comment will be on our left and image will be on our right. So without further ado, let us now write our command. Flask make view recipes comments images index, and let's make this longer, minus RCM. Now, don't forget the M in this example because we do not have an image model, so we need that. Just so you know, I'm not tricking you or anything. Here's our models. We just have comment, recipe, no image in here. And here's the init, nothing, no image registered. So, to me, what's going to be cool is the routes. You're going to have routes, recipes, comments, images. I would spend endless amounts of time trying to troubleshoot where one little thing was off. And this one command is going to do that for me, and it's going to wire everything up, and it's just going to be beautiful. So let's do it. All right. So let's see the beautifulness that happened. We now have an image model. So we'll make a change here to the image model. We'll make our migration, but let's just check our routes. So without even doing any migration, I should be able to just navigate here. So I have an index for, and look at, I mean, this is recipes, has the recipe ID, comment has the comment ID, images. So you're passing the recipe ID and the comment ID through to a new controller, RecipeCommentImageController. So you just see the relationship. There's recipe, recipe comment, recipe comment image. So there it is, and it's rendering the template that's under recipe comments images index. So if I go down here to template, recipe comments images index. So we should see this message when we go to that URL. And this should all work right now. So recipe 1, comment 1, images. And there it is. There's the message. Perfect. So that's really that. This next step isn't really part of Flask Commands. It's just part of Flask. But right now, we do not have images in here. Let's wire up, let's migrate that. So let's go back to VS Code. So we need to have the two models open. So let's close this for right now. So we need comments, so the comment model, and we need the image model. All right, let's do this. All right, so the image model needs to know what comment it came from, which means we need a comment ID. So that's a DB column, DB integer, which is a foreign key. So this is all setting up the database structures. So this is everything you're going to see in Table Plus. So you need to tell it, and this is the relationship. Think of this as the relationship on the tables, which means you're going to reference things the way the tables are written. So this table is comments dot, and the column name off of that is ID. Okay, so that's why we typed that there, and I'm not going to allow it to be nullable. Otherwise, the image would just be hanging out there without any parent, and that would just be weird. It'd just have an image that doesn't relate to a comment. Okay, and then I'm just going to let you put text in here. So we're just going to put the alt text, for example. And I'll make that a DB column, and we'll do a string. So DB string, and we'll allow, 512 characters. You can put whatever number you want in there. And nullable, we'll say this is also false. Which means if you try to make a image without an alt text, your database is going to not allow that. So if you want to allow that, you would have to put true here. I'm going to leave it as false. All right, now if I have an image, and this is the relationship I forgot in the prior video, if I have an image, I need to be able to go back to its parent. So this one's parent is the comment. So let's just put a section down here for relationships. All right, so if I have an image, I need to be able to go back to the comment, which is the parent, which is a DB relationship. And I'm just putting the bare bones minimum in here just to make things work. So comment. So this is a relationship on the comment class, and that's, so these are the ORM. This is, think of this as the database up here, and then this is SQLAlchemy here. This is your Python code. So you're relating back to what class? You're relating back to the comment class, and that's why it's capital comment and not lowercase comments, which is the table name, which is what you see when you're using the database, the like table plus. Okay, and then you always have to put this back populates. This is a little bit of a brain teaser. You're on a comment. How do you reference it? You put images. So what's the comments? Images. Okay, but it's a little weird because you're in image. That's just the way that works. All right, so then now over here, I need to do that same, and I must have you all probably saw that, I have a typo. I need to do that same idea over here. What, if I have a comment, what are my images? And this is the one that I always think of doing, because this is the one I often use the most. So it's going to be the class name here. And so it's the class name of what we're referencing, which is image. And then you just need your back populates. And so if I have an image, I can get the comment that it related it to. So that's comment. Okay. And you're going to see, yeah. So let's now, just because we did this, this just kind of wires up the coding part of it. It doesn't actually push through the table structure part, the data structure part. So we need to come in here, and we need to have our virtual environment activated. So source then activate, and I will do Flask DB migrate and a message, and I say created image is table. Yay, no errors, and then Flask DB upgrade. All right, and there it is. So now I have an image. I can relate it back to a comment. So I have comment 1 and 2. So if I say I'm going to make an image for comment 1, let's make 2 images for comment 1, and we'll say this is just, will be really generic, image 1, a tree or a pizza in the oven. I guess that wasn't super generic, that was pretty specific. And then we'll do another one, image 2, a pizza at the table. All right. So you have these comments, and we won't be able to see them until we hook everything up. So at this point, we now have made our migrations. Let's go to the route for here, and we will need to be able to see our images. So you can do a couple ways of doing this. We're not going to do it here. We're going to do it in the controller. Excuse me. So let's go back to the controller. And here. So we have a recipe ID. We have a comment ID. So we can say, I'm just going to do a very basic way of doing this. So I'm going to say, get me the recipe. Recipe.query.get or 404 recipe ID, and then comment is comment.query.get or 404 comment ID. So this means if you pass in something that doesn't exist, the browser's just going to give a 404 error. We can test that out and see that. And then images is just going to be comment.images. All right. So then we can pass into the template the recipe is recipe. And the comment is comment, and the images equals images. Okay. So you could do that in a couple of ways. You could have used the comment ID and used the relational database to get the recipe. You can also use a filter and then filter I would do it this way. I would actually put the filter on here, and then I would say comment dot ID is equal to comment ID, and then on the comment I also have a recipe ID. So comment.recipe ID is equal to recipe ID. And then I would do first or 404. Let's try that. Is it first or get? And then I would actually not do this. And then I would do it this way. I would do recipe equals comment.recipe. I would do it this way because, why would I do it this way? I would do it this way because this way I know that the recipe and the comment are actually related to each other. I'm not getting a comment for a completely different recipe. The other way I had it, you could have a comment on pizza and get a recipe for salad, and you wouldn't have any 404 errors. This way, I may have something wrong, but let's test everything out. So let's bring that in from app.models, import comment. Should solve that. And then why are you yelling? It said double equals. Okay, that's why it was yelling. Okay, so that gets me. So I come in and I get my comment, and then from the comment I can grab the recipe that it was related to. If I don't have it, if it doesn't match up to a recipe, we're going to get a 404 error anyways, so we're guaranteed this. and then we get all the images. So then I can come in here, and this is the index page. So let's come over here to the index page for that. And we'll do a couple things. We will pull up the index page for the other one. Index page for the comment. So we can kind of, let's copy a little bit of this over. So we'll have the recipe. We will have the comment. And the comment, let's see what we can do. Recipe is this. Comment is this. And I think I called it message. Yes, I did. Comment.message. And then we'll have, I don't know, an H6 or something. And then we'll say recipes, comments, images. And then we can loop just like we did here on our unordered list. And we'll say for image and images in the for. And then we'll do a list item. We won't make a link here. We will just say image dot alt text. Oops. Okay, before I save that, let's just bring up the browser. And you forgot a comma. Where did I forget a comma? And let's see. In the controller, I forgot a comma apparently on line 15. It's saying. Let's go to the controller. Oops. It's RecipeCommentImageController. RecipeCommentImage. Saying it doesn't like RecipeCommentImageIndex. Where's it yelling? Line 15 is here. Oh, I sure did. Look, right there. All right. Thank you, Flask, for making those comments so helpful, because that actually is very helpful. Now, we are seeing, so let's make sure you all see the URL that I'm at. So I'm on recipe 1, comment 1, all the images for that comment. And right now I'm just seeing the generic message that we put in the template because we haven't saved this file. As soon as I save this, there we go. The recipe is template, the comment, this is great, and there's image 1 and image 2's alt text. So that is 3 levels deep, and hopefully you kind of see why I would say stop here. Like you know you can go in and you can do the show page, but you could do whatever you want, but I, as a rule of thumb, don't go any further than this, because the URL at this point just would become a nightmare mess. You can still nest relationships, but then at this point I would start being very specific with what my route was, and so I would actually use the minus route and tell the route to Flask commands. All right, so we'll wrap this this series up. This page up in the next video. See you in the next video.